Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's Saturday morning. This is the 24th of April already. I'm going to take a quick look at the market, and then I'm going to show you something I've been working on the past few days, and I'll cover it in a webinar. Anyway, I'm using my high resolution monitor, and I have to take the resolution down a little bit when I do the completed video, just because it creates a file that's too large if I don't do that. So for those of you who, if your screens look a little soft, it's not your monitors, it's just that I have to modify the resolution, but everything will be satisfactory. It just won't be razor sharp. Now I'm going to take a look at the markets a little bit differently than I have in the past, or most of us do, because I think I can gain some insight this way. What I have over here is my major market plus, and that is a scan which you will find, let me bring that back up, in the market analysis user groups. It's the top folder. Now I call this plus because it has the major markets in it, plus over the years I've added many ETFs just to get a feel for how the major indexes are performing against certain ETFs, and I'm sorted on percentage raw combo, which is a percentage price change one day, and you can see the Innovator IBD 50 fund went to the top. Yesterday it was up 3.5%. And if I double click on this, it will bring up my daily chart and weekly chart. And this is why I'm using this monitor. I wanted the screen real estate. So daily chart on top, weekly chart on the bottom. Now if we look at the IBD 50 fund, you can see how volatile this market has been and how frustrating it's been to trade recently. So if you've been getting beaten up some, take a look at this and you'll understand why. Now this certainly looks different than this run up here. Notice how tight this was compared to all of this looseness over here. So this has many of us gun shy, to say the least, and it's been very difficult to trade because you get a move up like this, you think, boy, it's going to go, and then we get one of these. Then we get a move up like this, and then it comes back down like this. Now, this is Friday, of course, Thursday, Wednesday. But one thing I want to point out is look at the volume in here, how light it is on this. Now, this is just the IBD fund. Let's take a look at a broader market here. Okay, I'm going to bring the ranking module into play. And it is set on 1 week. But what I want to do is I want to look at the longer term here. I'm going to change this to Wilder 14 weeks. And what this does is it brings the indexes to the top, which are trending. And that's because the 14-week requires that the index be near the top of the range. Now, if you look over here, I'm going to bring up the transports. Look how smooth this is compared to what I just showed you with the IBD 50. Now, this, of course, is not a huge list of stocks, but this is where the strength has been. Let's look at the commodity indexes. Let's look at the industrials, the mid-cap 400, the composite 1500. You can see strength and steadiness. Of course, we're talking about a much broader market than the IBD 50. I'm going to go down to the SPX, pushing an all-time high. I'm going to scroll down here. I have the ARK funds in here too because they're widely followed now. But let's look at ARKK, and you can see how difficult this fund has been to trade. Yes, this was great. Everything was going up. And then the sell-off, and once again, we get this pattern. So for those of us who have been raised upon high growth stock or used to trading them, it's been a very frustrating period. But my point is there have been many opportunities in other groups, and I'm just as much to blame as anybody on this. I've spent most of my trading life looking at the Nasdaq 100 and the comp. Now let's look at the 100. You can see the 100 on the weekly and the daily is relatively smooth compared to some of these ETFs. Right here it's setting up. It looks like it wants to go over or break out. I'm sorry. Here's the comp. But it too had this and then this and then this and then this and then this. But now, if you look across here, here's resistance right here. But what really stands out to me on this chart is this. Look how the volume has fallen off as this has moved up. Now compare that to this move here and all of this volume, which for the most part was trading above the 90-day moving average volume line, which is the blue line. Look how far underneath that line this is. Now this signals to me that there's really just a lack of participation. So we have to take the price and the volume into account. Now markets do go up, and you can see this. Markets do go up on less volume if traders are holding on to their positions because there's just not as much activity. So that could be the case here, but it's really a dramatic difference from this period back here to this period. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring up the quick pick, and I'm going to go down to 1B. It says major market, no ETFs. That eliminates all these ETFs. So we just look at the major markets, and Bitcoin is an investment trust. It's not an ETF. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do about this right now. GBTC, I'm going to edit this and symbol. Not equal GBTC. Notice ARKK is in there too, or ARKX, I'm sorry, because it hasn't been classified as an ETF yet. So I've changed this, and when you download the add-on, the filter will be correct, and that'll be eliminated. So what I have here are the major markets. If you look down here, remember I'm on Wilder 14 weeks. The transportation averages at the top, followed by the Dow Jones, the mid-cap 400, then a composite. Let's take a look at that broader market composite. Look at the S&P 1500, how strong it's been. If we just look at the Nasdaq, we get a totally different picture. I showed you how volatile this has been. The Nasdaq 100, the same thing. So rather than focusing just on the Nasdaq, I think we're all missing out on a lot of opportunities in these other indexes. Now to find some of these opportunities, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, or I'm sorry, I'm going to go up into the major market index components. I'm going to go to the transports themselves. You have to go to the components, and let's look at some of these stocks. Look at Avis. It's been on a tremendous run. It had a test. I'm sorry, let me click on that again. Low volume test on Friday. Look at the weekly chart. After this low volume test here, which was an excellent call, this stock has done nothing but move up about $18. Let's look at Kansas City Southern. I have no idea what's going on here, so I'm not even going to attempt to look at that. There's the index. Here's Southwest Airlines. Weekly chart looks strong. It is in a congestion area here. There's a series of higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. I'm sorry there. And now it's in a congestion area. Let's take a look at this. The earnings are out because the next one says 722. I'm not really excited about this. It's going to have to break past resistance, but there is a low volume test. Expeditors, another stock that's moved up sharply in the transportation index. Well, I've been spending too much time looking at the Nasdaq stocks. Let's take a look here at the S&P 400. Just going to drop down here. The mid caps, I'm going to do a ranking module. Here's Avis again. Here's a stock that I am currently in. I have some debit spreads on rather than owning the stock outright. I've been playing quite a few debit spreads lately just to give myself some time and some flexibility. But you can see how strong this stock has been, and compare this to a lot of those Nasdaq stocks. Here's Oshkosh Truck. Remember, I'm set on Wilder 14 weeks, so the stocks that are the LL or lower left, upper right stocks come to the top of the list. I'm just flipping through a few of these, and you can see that they all have these characteristics. Now, here's an inexpensive stock. The earnings are due this week, so you have to be careful about it, but it's a beautiful chart, both on the daily and on the weekly. I'm just going to drop down here to chart number 10, and you can see that the last entry point on the VPOC, I want an arrow, not a frame, was right here, and the last entry point on the crossover looks like it was about here, coming off of this VPOC. But notice that it traded above the 18 all the way up. There were some slight pullbacks, but many opportunities to get in to this stock. Let's go back up here. Let's look at LPX, and you can see where the VPOC entries were. Now, it had a pullback here. I've been in it since about here, and I got a little, concerned here, but didn't do anything about it because my spread was in the money, or spreads were in the money, and I have 28 days to go to expiration. I know earnings are coming up, but how do you bail on a stock like this? Let's take a look at the, I'll see that did go negative for one day and then it reversed yesterday, but back here, same time as a VPOC or the following day, I believe that's where I got in. I'd have to go back and check my records, but beautiful chart. My point is, showing you this is, we don't have to spend all of our time looking at Nasdaq 100 and Nasdaq composite stocks. There are many opportunities, and HGSI really allows us to see inside the market and find these opportunities. Now I want to show you something really interesting, and I'm going to end this video. This I'm going to go into my designer, and you won't have this, so you don't have to be concerned with this, but I have added in industry groups. These are all the stocks that need to be classified. Now remember, I classified these stocks 2 weeks ago and sent the list to George, not these stocks, but a list of stocks. These are all that have come out since then in 2 weeks. This is just unimaginable. And I'm going to click through to the warehouse view, and I'm going to go, and you don't have this view, you have no need for it because you don't classify stocks. I'm going to go to group classifications, IPOs. Look at this, 102 stocks that have come out in the past couple of weeks. These are IPOs which need to be classified. And I want to show you something really what I think is interesting. I had the wrong filter. Let me go back and change that. Okay, classifications, IPOs. Here's how many, 159 IPOs in probably two and a half weeks. But the interesting thing about this is if I change to this filter, which allows the blank check IPOs to appear, if the name contains blank checks, these are all blank check companies, 102 of them in about 2.5 weeks. These are the companies that are not coming out with the traditional IPOs. They're acquisition companies, and then they bring other IPOs to market or stocks to market, or I'm sorry, they invest in other companies, and the blank check craziness is just beginning. So there's 102 of these. These won't take long to classify because I've got 102, and if I remove the filter, there's 181 securities to classify, but 102 of them are blank check companies. And now, is this a sign of a market top? I don't know. But I've never seen anything like this, and I was warned that this is probably going to happen. I just wanted to point that out to you because I find it very interesting. Another thing I want to point out is that on the non-index files, which are in your add-on, the high short interest stocks are down to 42 today, and this week, and notice that GME is not in here, GameStop, and AMC is not in here either. I get these off of a web page or a website, and there are 42 of them. There were 50 last week. So if you're looking for high short interest stocks, this is where you're going to find them. Now I'm planning to do a webinar this Thursday, and I want to show you what I've been working on the past few days. This idea came to me from a user who comes and goes from HGSI when he has time. He comes back, and then he has other projects he works on. But he was saying that he likes to look at a quick snapshot of candles on, I believe, stock charts is a site he uses. And I mentioned on Skype that, I can do that in Thinkorswim. I just haven't done it for a while, so I came back and figured this out, and I want to show you what I'm going to be talking about on Thursday, among other things. But as you can see, this is Thinkorswim, and if you look over here, you'll see I have a watch list. It's my top 12. Now, just for the heck of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into let me close some of this up here. Go into my user groups, and I want to close this. Here I have a folder called Top 12 stocks, because I'm limiting this to 12 stocks right now. You can create these grids, and you can do 50 grids if you want to, but I'm limiting it to 12 because I want to be able to show you how I do this. So these are 12 stocks over here from Friday. Now I'm going to edit this. I'm going to select all. I'm going to remove these stocks, and I'll just say OK. And I don't have anything in here now. Now let's go back here. I'm going to use the ranking module because these are LLUR stocks, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select append to group, and I have to locate my top 12 stocks folder. I want 12. So you can see that this populated with the 12 LLUR stocks, which are the high relative strength stocks in the S&P 400. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy to the clipboard. Then I'm going to bring up the Thinkorswim grid, and I'm going to click on Watch List Top 12. I'm going to go to Edit Top 12. I'm going to import. I'm going to paste, and I'm going to replace the current symbols. So I'm going to save that, and these are the 12 stocks from my ranking list. Now these are 5-minute charts up here. I'm going to start out with the 5-minute charts. I'm going to go up here, and I'll do this more slowly when I go through the webinar. I just want to show you what I can do. And see this right here, load symbols to cells. And I'm going to go down here to personal, and I have my watch list top 12. If you look all the way to the left, you'll see that's what I'm working with. I select that, and it loads these 12 stocks on a 5-minute basis. You can see as the market closed, there was some profit taking on some of these. Here's that LPX that I only have a couple of debit spreads on it right now. But these are 5-minute charts. But what if I want to see the daily charts? I have this other grid on my other monitor. I have to load symbols to cells and go to personal and go to my top 12, and it populates this list with the same stocks. I don't know why LPX isn't coming up, but it certainly will when I do this live. What I do want to point out, I'm going to move this over to the side. Notice that these are in the same order. I pasted these in from HGSI, and this is the order they came in from HGSI. And I believe, let's go back and take a look. Maybe not. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. Let me go in, or not off the ranking module anyway. Yeah, AEO. Yeah, that's right. You can see that these came in order. AEO, AGCO, AYX, and so on down the list. I was looking at the ranking module. For some reason, that stock isn't loading right now, and I don't know why. So if you have two monitors, you can look at the 5-minute chart, or you can look at the daily chart. I could have the dailies on here if I wanted to, rather than the 5 minutes, but I chose to have the 5-minute charts on my primary screen, and the reason is I want to see which stocks are moving up. Now here's Oshkosh. You can maximize the sell on a 5-minute chart, and you can look down here at the bottom and see how this traded throughout the day. So if you see that it's running up sometime during the day, you can get in, but oftentimes, and we'll see this all the time, towards the end of the day, profit taking sets in, and if you chase up here, you can get in big troubles. And so you can just restore these cells. Very powerful. Let's take a look here at let's see if I can find any of these that finished near their high. Well, CAR did. I'm going to maximize CAR. Here's another thing you can do. Remember, this is a 5-minute chart. I'm going to load a study set. I'm going to load VPA, all exponential moving averages. Here's the 200, the 100, the 50, the 18, the 3, and the 6. Now, this is on a 5-minute chart, but you can get a feel for these stocks, how they're relating to the fan. Now, unfortunately, I don't have volume point of control as one of the studies in Thinkorswim, but this certainly helps here with these VPA flags. Now, I'm going to remove all studies, and I'm going to restore this. This probably would work better with the daily charts. Let's use JCOM here. Studies, load study set, and then I can maximize the cell, and I can see how JCOM's doing relative to my moving averages. Here, the 3 cross the 6 on the daily, but you can see that there are some buyers coming in on Thursday and Friday. Studies, remove all studies, yes. Restore cells. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about this among other things in the webinar on Thursday, and we'll be able to do some live charts then. I'll be doing it at 2:30 on Thursday afternoon, and just show you that this can be powerful. The best time, obviously, to do this is early in the morning when the stocks start trading, and use a user smart group or a scan first, and just put them in here. You can see which stocks are moving. You can confirm it with the daily charts, and then possibly take a position. Thanks for listening.